everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jennifer. This is my daughter Claire. She always shows up in my videos and she's really excited, and she knew that I was talking about books that she really wanted me to talk about. There's a Lock It in My Pocket by Dr. Seuss. She really wanted, do you want to hold it and talk about what the story is about? You hold it. No, you want mommy to talk about it? Well, there's some weird rhyming creatures in this book. But anyways, good job. That's it. This is my April wrap up, and I'm pretty excited. I read 4 books. One was an audio, and that I started when was this? A few months ago. So I just finished that audio book. So 1 audio book, 1 physical book, and 2 on my Kindle that I read. And I rated pretty good. There was 1 book that I just did not care for. I think most of my books, it was a pretty fine month. I mean, not my best month, but it was great. But I read 4, and that's amazing. I think 4 is my average go-to books now, depending on the size of the books. The first book I read was Dark Matter, which I think I mostly read in March, but I finished it in April, in the beginning of April, I want to say. But, you know, I count it as a finish. I mean, I mostly read it in March, but that one was a 4.5 for me. So good. Such a sci-fi type book. It was a sci-fi thriller. You didn't know what was going to happen. That ending was nuts. It's like, it makes you really think of, about time, not necessarily time travel, but going into different dimensions, I guess I want to say. It's a crazy mind fuck of a book in a way, and that ending was just like, what the heck is gonna happen? How are they gonna deal with this? Anyways, I highly enjoyed this book. If you're really into sci-fi or any sort of time travel and thrillers or whatever, I really highly enjoyed this book. And then the next book I read was Opalnev. What was it? The Final Revival of Opalnev. And this one I was having high expectations for because it was compared to Daisy Jones and the Six, and I loved it. And it's written in that same kind of format, but the story had some really good points and high points and stuff, and then there was really boring and low points. The ending was not exciting at all. It was just whatever. The ending, yeah, was underwhelming. The ending was underwhelming, and the story, the main build-up part, I guess, happens towards the middle of the big chaos. There was a lot of boring talk, especially about fashion, which I don't give a crap about. If you're into fashion, I guess you would like this in a way, but it didn't really get, I thought it was gonna be more about the music. Yeah, there were some good music elements in there and stuff, but there were good music elements in there, but it was otherwise just whatever. Yeah, there was a big main climax in the middle that made a lot of sense and made the story come together. But otherwise, that was the only real good part about it. And I really did want to know what happened to these characters, but it was underwhelming, and so I gave that one a 2.5 just because, I still did enjoy certain elements of it, but overall it was just boring. I was wanting to skim pages. I mean, on my freaking book, I'm just skimming. I'm this is boring. It's about fashion. And if you're skimming a book, why am I still reading it? But I really wanted to know what happened to the character. The third book I finished was The House in the Cerulean Sea, and that was my audio book. And this one was really cute story. It's this man who checks on orphanages, which nobody's gonna adopt them. They're magical children. And stuff. It's just houses that keep these children safe and secluded or whatever. But he goes and checks to make sure everybody's working correctly, and the kids aren't in harm, the workers aren't in any harm. So anyways, he does go to check on this one house in the Cerulean Sea, and you get to know all these kids, which the kids are the greatest. I love their personalities, and then the man who works there, and it's just you really get to know all these characters, and it's so cute. I gave it, what did I give it? A 3.5 because it was really good. I enjoyed it, but it wasn't really necessarily my thing as well. There were some parts that are just kind of repetitive, I want to say, or I understand what the point they're getting to already, and that they're elongating this point. which I understand for certain parts of the story for some people to understand, but it's like I knew what they were talking about. But overall, it was a beautiful book, 3.5, enjoyed it. If you're into fantasy or whatever, you know, you'll probably enjoy this. This is a lot of people's favorite books, and I can see why, but it just wasn't for me. Really, Claire, she is just going. She is got tough. The last book I read was for the book club that I'm in my community, and I chose, it was my choice this time, I chose Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. Oh. I'm watching live where Disneyland's opening right now, and all these people are going in and they're excited and crying, and it's so beautiful. I want to cry, and I live in Texas, but I used to live in California. I love Disneyland so much. I got to go last year before the lockdown happened. But anyways, this one I gave, what did I get? A 4? I want to say, I think I gave this book a 4-star. And this one was just so good. Like, at first you're like annoyed by a bunch of these characters because they're being really stupid and annoying and really mean and doesn't treat people right. You know, that a lot of these characters, you get these different character point of views. You like, basically there's a hostage situation going on in this apartment, and there's like the point of views of all those people, plus the police that are being interrogating some of these people and asking the witnesses everything. And so you get to know their history, and it just like shows like humanity coming together. Everybody has these problems, whether they're all alike or different, and they all find some sort of common ground in a way. And I just love it. I just really like the way it was written, and you know, the outcome of it. You know, I enjoyed it. It's like forgiveness in a way, and like understanding people, where they're coming from. You don't know, just because this person seems this way, there's a reason for it, and then you understand why they're that way. And anyways, this one and Dark Matter were like my 2 favorites of the month. I highly enjoyed these. Recommend those. I recommend any of these. I mean, who knows, you might like Opalnev. I didn't. But anyways, and then I didn't know if I was going to finish the book I'm reading now. That's not going to happen. I still have like just under 200 pages left, I want to say. So, yeah, I think I had a pretty good reading month, and thank you for watching my videos. Let me know if you've read any of these, or if you plan to, or if I made it sound any good. I didn't go too much into detail about any of these stories, just because I feel like that could ruin a book. You know, some people explain too much, or even inside it could explain too much on here and it could ruin the story for you. So I like mild descriptions, and that's the best way to go through it. Anyways, thank you again for watching.